when the postman comes, he assumes it's not me because my signature is off. So he's not polite to ask me for my ID.
I was heartbroken one morning to walk into my local branch only to discover that they had upgraded all the ATMs. Being now unfamiliar with the machines, I had to rely solely on the tellers.
From my experience is that if you go to the bank and they don't understand you, they will not service you.
I face a lot of discrimination and tried to deal with myself on internet company with not respecting my pronouns and not explaining properly about the plan because of my disability for me to understand.
As a person with disabilities, I was so excited to be taking my first independent flight. I informed the airline of what accommodation I required, which was to help me from check-in to boarding the plane, nothing more. When I went to check in for my flight, I was forced by the airline staff to wear a large derogatory sign around my neck. This publicly shamed me and humiliated me for over 9 hours.
My experience was I went to a bank and I did not have the Ontario provincial card at the time. I was asked for ID to open up a new bank account. Because I did not have the ID, I was required to go back home to get my passport, which I had to take multiple buses back. As a person living with a disability, this feels very disempowering. And even as a Black male, there's circumstances where I'm not even believe that it's my account that I'm opening up.
I'm flying with people. There is an assumption about the relationship that I have. And recently, I flew with my partner, who appears to be non-disabled. And when the person was checking me in, they referred to her as my sister. And I said, no, she's not my sister. She's actually my partner. And they just looked at me like they didn't know where to go with that. And I felt really upset by that whole exchange.
When being accompanied by a friend, a partner, or a family member in attending any federally regulated organization, anytime I indicate I'm deaf, the individual's eye gaze goes directly to the other person, and I then become invisible.
I called the Indigenous Government Hotline because I was in a mental health crisis. I mentioned the trauma from residential schools. The hotline was not culturally supportive in ways of how trauma in the Indigenous community with the residential schools and mental health go together. There was no, in a time of a crisis, educating individuals on the other line that were non-Indigenous.
I would like them to respect us, that we have different challenges in life, and we're all equal, and be a little bit nicer to us.
It would have been wonderful to have had the opportunity to be oriented to the new machines and thereby being able to maintain my independence.
All airlines should follow human rights law and treat customers with disabilities with dignity and respect.
But people that have disabilities have all the rights to go to the bank and do their banking, but people at the bank has to learn to listen to what they have to say.
I would tell them to respect someone's pronouns and their disability and to train the team properly so that they could be more accessible towards customers.
What I believe that should happen is for bank tellers to do sensitivity training on the disability experience, as well as the racialized one, to truly understand all kinds of experiences and identities.
When people are uncertain about the relationships with non-disabled people and people with disabilities, don't make assumptions. Don't assume that the person that I'm with is either my caregiver or my family member. They could be my lover.
If it's an Indigenous hotline, it needs to be staffed by Indigenous people. And if they're not Indigenous, they need the cultural training as to how trauma, mental health, all ties in to the Indigenous bloodline.
What I need from them is to resist the urge from looking at someone else and communicate directly with me. You can communicate by utilizing gestures, indicate what resources are available. We can communicate through written means. We can also hire an interpreter, but it is essential to maintain eye contact with the person you are communicating with.
It is clear that society has looked at people with disabilities and deaf people as separate from everyone else. We are not yet thought of as people first. We are usually defined as our disability. It is important to understand that we are fine with who we are. It is our environment and the attitude of others that disable us. There are numerous barriers that include employment, buildings, technology, and communication. The Accessibility Exchange is one avenue with the goal of creating true equitable inclusion. The Accessibility Exchange is designed to be a two-way bridge for people and organizations of people with disabilities and deaf people to connect with federally regulated organizations and government departments. Our immense wealth of knowledge and expertise, together with you, will create the change we all want. Come and explore the Accessibility Exchange with us.
Today, we will be walking you through the process of navigating the Accessibility Exchange from the perspective of a federally regulated organization. On our homepage, you can see what the Accessibility Exchange is and how it works for people with disabilities and deaf community members, for federally regulated organizations, and for community organizations. It describes what we mean by the term disability, and it provides an option to sign up with links to our social media and contact information. On the homepage, you can also change the language of communication, English and French, see the language button, as well as ASL and LSQ, where there is video content. Next, let's go to the organization's landing page or dashboard. Here, you can sign on to your organization's profile to create or update your accessibility project. An accessibility project could be a consultation you are designing and hosting, or a project could be a progress report on implementing your accessibility plan, for which you are seeking feedback from the disability and deaf communities. Organizations are notified about changes to their projects, like the addition of a project administrator or RSVPs to their invitation to disability and deaf community members to participate in a consultation. Additionally, organizations can upload training courses on the platform. Training participants' progress in completing the training can be tracked, and the website can issue certificates to participants on completion. Next, let's go to the Manage My Project page. On this page, you have access to the details of your project. Under the Learn button, you can access resources to help you with your consultation. For example, a resource on how to conduct an accessible and inclusive consultation. Under the Manage button, you can find engagements that you are hosting, for example, an online consultation or a survey, and reports that you post. You can also find links to a community connector. A community connector is an individual or an organization who can help you reach out to a specific community of participants. For example, Indigenous people with disabilities or immigrants with disabilities. Next, let's go to the Public Project page. This is the public-facing page where others can learn about your accessibility projects. It includes things like your project goals, project impact and scope, and other items. That concludes our run-through of some features on the Accessibility Exchange. To learn more and to sign up for updates, please visit us at news.accessibilityexchange.ca.